The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Man, oh man, Evander Kane, he better call Cash Patel because Vancouver Canucks fans, they're about to come after this guy.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Your Vancouver Canucks might be 25th overall in the NHL, but it's all good. You know why? Because it's hump day, and you're here listening to another episode of Locked On Canucks. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Cal Bowen. This episode is brought to you by Gametime. Go download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. Kyle, fans at Rogers Arena last night, they got to witness the Evander Kane experience, especially if that was the first game they've gone to this season. And suffice to say that some fans not too pleased with the performance of Evander Kane so far. And, you know, Kyle, we touch on it on this show. Every dayers know, really throughout the entire season so far. But let's talk about it to kick off this show today. I think that the Evander Kane trade is probably Patrik Allvin's worst move. The worst move he's made in his almost 4 years as GM.
What the?
Wrong.
Relax, man. Worst move?
What's his worst move?
I don't know. I saw one of the comments on that video that you just posted where you kind of said the same thing on a YouTube short. And somebody said, yo, Filipino was the worst move. Somebody said extending Kevin Lankinen was the worst move. I'm not agreeing with those. I'm just saying there's been a lot of moves. Patrik Allvin has made a ton of moves. Some may even think, letting go of Zadorov was a bad move, right? I'm saying, not signing Phil Kessel was a bad move. Like, well, okay, what makes trading a 4th round pick for any player the worst move ever? Because, didn't we just trade a 4th for Lucas Reichel? This is just not play related, right? Because, how do I say this? Because are you saying that because last year was such a big offseason, or a couple months ago the summer was so important and the only move he made was Evander Kane? Is that what makes it horrible? Do you think they banked on this guy being the fix? Because some may say that there was not a lot of moves to make, so at least he made one and it only involved the 4th round pick. But the worst, Trevor, that's crazy. Trevor, you like to party at Pierre's, okay? A lot of people don't know that about Trevor. Trevor's at Pierre's maybe 2 times a month. He writes his articles for the Daily Hive after games at Pierre, so you better be careful here.
Yeah, Pierre's or the Blarney Stone. It's one or the other. And, Kyle, I got to tell you, man, I'm fan first. You always ask me I'm fan first before reporter. I can't worry about repercussions from Evander Kane in the locker room. I got to say it like it is out here on Locked On Canucks. And it's not the fact that the Canucks traded a 4th round pick, right? The cost of that was fine. It's the fact that you brought him in at all. That is why it's the worst move that Allvin has made. And sure, the Miller one has higher stakes. And, I've said it before, I'm not a fan of that move either, but it seemed like something that had to be done. But the Evander Kane one is just mind-boggling to me. It's head-scratching. This guy's making over $5 million. And again, to me, it's the opportunity cost of different things that the Canucks could have done last year around free agency when they were trying to improve this team. And we've talked about it, Kyle. Every dayers know the fact that you bring in Evander Kane, his $5.125 million salary, instead of keeping Pius Suter, who signed at a very reasonable contract, instead of keeping Dakota Joshua, they trade him away as well. He's now starting to pick up some steam with the Toronto Maple Leafs, or even just any other move this team could have made in free agency, Kyle.
Okay, but who could? Oh, there you go. I was going to ask.
Okay, Connor Brown. Look, 5 goals in 10 games for the Devils. Skates like the wind. He can kill penalties. Yoel Armia, signed at a fraction, half the cost, $2.5 million for the LA Kings, has 2 goals, 6 points so far. Even like a Michael Eyssimont, who was kind of like a free agent flyer I liked. He's got 3 goals, 7 points in 12 games with Boston. There were other moves that could have been made aside from bringing Evander Kane. Almost anything else would have worked, Kyle. And look, I think the Evander Kane experience here has been magnified by a couple things too. First, we'll touch with Warren on the other side. I think everyone in Canucks Nation is talking about they're the most injured team in the NHL right now. So Evander Kane's going to get even more ice time. But even then, Kyle, before injuries to Connor Garland hit or Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, Evander Kane leads this team in even strength ice time. It's mind-boggling, man.
No, it's not mind-boggling. I mean, watch the games. This guy never wants to get off the ice. Yo, Evander Kane, you're not Alex Ovechkin. Evander Kane, you're not Alex Kovalev. For real. Come on. Like, I don't know, something about why. I don't know if you can pull this out, but like, is he leading our team in like shifts that are over 80 seconds long for forwards? 'Cause I know Quinn Hughes like takes 3-minute shifts, but like Evander Kane, like something about him is just throwing me off. Like, again, not standing up for teammates too, like, and again, staying out there for a long time, trying to like pad the stats. What's going on? What's going on? Are you Team Canuck or Team UFA? For real. Anyways, Trevor, I do want to get to this too. I think a lot of people like me, because again, a 4th-round pick for Evander Kane, like it's hard for me to say, oh, that was the worst move Allvin's made. Like, Allvin traded a pick to get off of Jason Dickinson. I know he kind of had to at the time, but Jason Dickinson turned to a good player ASAP. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then he went back to being a pretty bad player. He had one good year in Chicago.
Okay, fair, my bad, Trevor. Sorry for being a dick. Okay, bragging about Jason Dickinson. But it's just but again, I'm just like, it was a 4th-round pick. That being said, well, if I viewed it like this, like no team like the Vancouver Canucks should be so loose with their draft picks because they're the Vancouver Canucks. And it's just a 4th-round pick. Wasn't Kaprizov not drafted in the 5th round?
Yeah, you could pull that argument every time a 4th-round pick is traded away, though. That's what I'm saying, Kyle. I mean, look, Evander Kane, he's played 11 games. He's got no goals. He hasn't really shown chemistry with anyone in this lineup. I'm sure he's had a couple of nice plays here that set up to Brock Besser the other night. But the minor penalties have been an issue. He's taken minor penalties in 6 of the Canucks' 11 games so far. You know, some of those have turned into pretty crucial goals against, including that Montreal game over the weekend. And Kyle, you see the speed's been an issue. The turnovers have been an issue. You know, last night, of course, the only goal of the game, I think DPD probably could have done more, but Kane loses his guy and Zibanejad goes in and scores. I mean, he is hurting this team more than he's helping this team. And the frustrating part is, again, not the 4th-round pick, but you could have had Pius Suter still here, or Dakota Joshua still here, or you could have signed a guy for half the salary in free agency and still been in a better spot than having Evander Kane in this lineup. And Kyle, just digging into the numbers today, here's one thing I pulled up from the NHL Edge data. And Evander Kane, man, just in love with shooting the puck from the outside. So this graphic on YouTube, you know, you can see Kane is a league leader, one of the top players in the league in terms of shooting the puck from the outside, whether it's, you know, on the half wall or near the point. But in terms of shots from the middle, he's not really doing anything because he doesn't have the speed to get to the inside right now. And again, it's just been constant turnovers and just a really subpar experience from Evander Kane. Now, look, he is a BC Bud, despite all the controversy and negativity surrounding him. He is a BC Bud. I want Evander Kane to do well. But at this point, Kyle, he has been a massive disappointment for this team. There is no other way to phrase it. And yeah, I look at the JT Miller trade and maybe the opportunity costs of letting Zadorov walk is pretty big mistakes by Allvin. But in terms of this last offseason, you look at transactions specifically, and I don't think there's a worse move that Allvin has made than trading for Evander Kane.
Trevor, man. You're lucky you don't live in East Van, buddy.
Come on, Surrey's tougher than East Van.
Okay. All right, Trevor. We don't gotta start a civil war. Okay, it's a hockey podcast. All right.
I love all of Vancouver, man. We'll put it that way.
Okay, Evander Kane. Again, still 71 games left. There's obviously room to improve. Like realistically speaking, like where could he improve? Because for me, the only answer is being more physical. And I brought this up, you know, many times, and I think people are getting annoyed of it, but whatever. Maybe I'm more loyal than you, and I really want to defend my brothers, even though sometimes I talk shit about my brothers that I don't know. All in all, though, you know, like over the last 13 months, you know what? Let's kick it back to the Nashville series, okay? Over the last 17 months, Quinn Hughes, you know, gets abused, gets hurt. Kiefer Sherwood, boom, bam, does his thing. Next thing you know, Kiefer Sherwood's a Canuck. But again, Quinn Hughes taking the abuse. Fast forward a couple months later, Brock Besser, right, gets concussed by Tanner Jeannot. Nobody does something for a couple months, right? Because we have to wait till we play the LA Kings next, you know? Just not good enough. Not good enough. Go to that game against Edmonton a couple months later where Corey Perry's just taking shots at Quinn Hughes and DDTing him to the ice. Not good enough. Oh, JT Miller's going to just talk to him at the end of the second period. Again, just not good enough. You go to Filip Chytil and Connor Garland this year. Open ice hits. These tough guys are just taking runs at our guys. They're not scared of the Canucks. And I thought that's what we brought Evander Kane here too, to make us a little bit more scarier. For real. Like, again, I'm not a tough guy. I've never been in a fight before. Disclaimer. Dude, I can't even kill a fly. I can't, because I don't want to. And honestly, you know, when he said yesterday the Canucks are dropping like flies, I'm like, what does that even mean? Because it's kind of hard to catch a fly. Anyways, just all in all, Evander Kane, if you're not scoring, like, bring some swag to the team. Like, help Keeper Sherwood out. Like, be a piece of shit. And, you know, he's drawn a couple penalties this year. He's probably leading the Canucks in drawn penalties or something like that. Like, you know, he's doing his thing when it comes to drawing penalties, but I want to see more of him being angry. Like, be angry that you haven't scored in your hometown in 11 games. Like, I want to see more care. And I don't know if we get that version of Evander Kane, because this is him being a UFA and him coming off like major surgeries. Like, maybe his body's not able to do it. Maybe he's fearful of putting his body through those things because, like, you know, he's not feeling himself yet because he just came off those multiple surgeries. All in all, though, like, just show some passion and be a piece of shit. Like, protect our teammates. Do something. The
advice of the day from Kyle Bowen. And let us know in the comments if you're watching live on YouTube, or interact with us after the fact. On Twitter, you can find Only Canucks, TikTok, Instagram, or hit us up in the Discord as well. I want someone to give me a compelling argument that Evander Kane is not the worst thing that Allvin has done as general manager of the Vancouver Canucks. Hit us up in the comments. Maybe we'll read some more as we get into this episode. Kyle, let's get to some news and notes on the other side. I think Canucks Nation knows most of it, but let's break it down. The Canucks, you know, setting league records here, man. They're the best in the league at something. Let's go. That's up on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. Before we get back to it, let's shout out our friends over at Gametime. And the Canucks are on the road, so, you know, we can cry into our beers watching this team from home. But if you want to get out this weekend, Kyle, you know the music scene better than me. I don't know if there's some concerts going on in the city, but I do know the BC Lions, my beloved BC Lions. Kyle, you CFL hater. Tickets for the BC Lions are available on Gametime.
What do you mean? Come on, Dave Dickinson, Casey Prenters, Buck Pierce. Come on, Louis Basaglia. Come on, man.
Can you name two players on the BC Lions right now?
Yeah, I can, of course. What?
Okay, name two players. Yeah,
I'm lagging. Just finish that. Yeah.
All right. So we'll Kyle collects his thoughts. I'll let you know about Gametime. Go check out the app. It's the only place that I go for buying tickets because they got the lowest price guarantee. They got the zone deals on the app. They got the view from the seat. You can be on the can and picture yourself at BC Place, at Rogers Arena, at the Commodore, wherever you want to be, baby. So make sure you take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Go download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs. Let's get to some comments because, come on, we're all Canucks fans, not just the people with the microphones. Lauren is saying worst thing was expecting Philip Hedl, an injury-prone player, not to be injury-prone. You know? Like, is that a worse move than trading for Evander Kane? That's how dark this season's been. So far this season. Like, it's the most spookiest October in Canucks history. Dude, Trevor, correct me if I'm wrong, and get involved in the comments. Like, it's never been this bad with the injuries, right? Like, you taking the injuries, you taking the emotional toll Canucks fans have been through over the last 15 years or whatever, especially the last 10, and then, like, going into, like, this October, like, so much angst about Quinn Hughes, and it, like, obviously we're 5-6, but only because we have Thatcher Demko. Like, injury-wise, like, it's never been this grim. This is crazy. Like, 8 players in the hospital. I heard hospitals are getting full. Like, they have to bring in some more nurses from the Nebraska to help us out here because of our already hospital problem. And I'm not talking about the parking. But now there's so many Vancouver players there. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in terms of the injuries, right? And I want to argue with you and say that it has to have been worse at some point. I mean, last season was pretty bad too when you got a banged up Hughes in the lineup and you're missing Pettersson and you're missing Hedel. But this season, again, usually the injury luck tends to even out, right? And that's even what I said kind of coming into the season is usually Murphy's Law, these things even out. Except this is your Vancouver Canucks, okay? So it has not evened out. In fact, it has gotten worse. And yeah, 8 regulars now missing from the lineup, right? 3 of them going down in one game against the Washington Capitals. 3 of your top 7 defensemen now on the shelf, including Quinn Hughes, who basically is your first, second, and third best defenseman on this team. And yeah, missing Connor Garland now. That's top scorer on the team. Like, this is a Canucks team that couldn't afford to have this many injuries this early in the season. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we all love seeing the young guys come up. Shout out to Tom Melander, had a good game last night. And, we're all excited to see Max Sasson get the call back up to the team and score 3 goals in 5 games to begin the season. But this is rough, man. This is a rough state for the Canucks to be in. And look, the Canucks, they're setting the league records right now, man. Or at least records this season. They have 8 guys injured. That's the most in the league in terms of NHL regulars who are out of the lineup. No other team has more than 6 NHL regulars at the lineup right now. But Kyle, this is where I'm not going to make excuses for the Canucks. It is next man up. And some of these teams maybe are missing the same caliber of guys. But so the 4 teams that have 6 players out of the lineup right now are the Carolina Hurricanes, the New Jersey Devils, the Florida Panthers, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, Florida's off to a pretty tepid start, but they're missing Barkov and Tkachuk. Like that, those are pretty significant absences. They're 5-5-1 to start the season. Carolina, New Jersey, and Pittsburgh, though, those teams are 3 of the best teams in the league right now, right? And I know they're not missing star players necessarily. I think Jacob Slavin's probably the best guy missing from that bunch, missing for Carolina. But those are 3 teams right now who have not used injuries as an excuse, who are still finding ways to get points. And New Jersey and Pittsburgh are actually tied for the league lead in points right now with 16. So shout out to the Hughes brothers and Archer Shelovs. Man, oh man, what a season. And look, the early season days can be weird. And again, none of these Canuck injuries sound serious except for Forbert, man. That one's pretty mysterious. But Hughes isn't expected out long term. Garland's out for the road trip. They haven't reported what's happened, but it sounds like he will not travel with the team. So again, there should be better days ahead if you're going to have a bunch of injuries. I know Quinn Hughes talked about the good start, but you probably want to have it early on in the season, get out of the way. But we know from last season that wasn't the case with the Canucks. They were just banged up throughout.
Yep. The curse of Phil Kessel, man. The curse of Phil Kessel. We did him dirty, and now we're all going to hell. That's what it feels like. Crazy, man. But hey, Trevor, again, like I came into the lobby a little late, so I really don't even know what the puck we're about to talk about. But can we just touch on this? Because what happens, Trevor? What happens when you go through dire times? You're in a dark place. You're at a loss for words. You have nowhere to go. What happens? You do drugs, okay? And Thatcher Demko. We've been talking about him as a drug on this program for quite some time because, we're being poetic. We're being William Shakespeare right now. A little Bob Marley here. We're being little Stevie Nicks about it. Demko is the drug. And I guarantee you, Trevor, he's getting the next 2 starts because the Canucks are desperate for wins. And they're not back-to-backs. And Kevin Lankinen hasn't been able to steal this team games. And, bro, you look at this roster, it's so depleted. The only way they find success, the only consistent part about their game through 10 games has been their goaltending when Thatcher Demko's in net. You could say what you want about Sherwood and Garland, but those are individual skaters. They can't really create a culture or somewhat of an identity for the way the team plays or the way the team finds success. It's not, they're not those guys, right? But when Thatcher Demko's in net, it literally feels like we still got a 51% chance to win that game. And I think that's the card they got to play against St. Louis and Minnesota. I do. And again, it's not a back-to-back. I know Demko's already gotten the last 2 starts, but let's just get him to 4. 4 straight starts for Thatcher Demko. No, come on. Why are you shaking your head? We just signed this guy to a 3-year, $8.5 million extension per year. I'm not saying play back-to-backs. He's already had only, 7 starts this year? If I'm correct, is it 8 or 7?
Yeah, 7 starts to 4.
Come on, another 2. It's all good. Give him St. Louis, give him Minnesota, because what else are you going to do? How is this team going to win games?
I think you got to trust Kevin Langdon. That's what you paid him for, man. I mean, look, if we start playing the wheels off of Thatcher Demko early on, this is a guy who's never made it through a full season, Kyle. And now we're 5-6, and you wanted to start throwing Demko out there for every game. I don't know about that, man. It's I think you got to trust in Kevin Lankinen to at least win a couple of games with this team, right? And yeah, the commenters, they're a little worried about Demko as well. But yeah, I mean, Kevin Lankinen, look, I think he did kind of steal this team a game against Chicago. They were not the better team in that game. He made some great saves to keep the team in it. He won the team the game in the shootout. And he's been averaging his other starts, man. And look, I think a lot of that's just the goals that have been going by him. They've been good goals, right? They've been leaky defense by the Canucks. And, Thatcher Demko, yeah, he has the ability to steal the team games, but I think you still got to trust Kevin Lang to start one of these games. Look, this isn't the Edmonton Oilers. This isn't the Colorado Avalanche, okay? This is the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild. Maybe we'll talk more about them tomorrow, but they've gotten up to pretty crappy starts themselves.
The Blues,
you got to trust Kevin Lankinen in one of these games, man.
The Blues smoked us, and they smoked Kevin Lankinen to some extent. Anyways, comment. Bing Tang Warrior saying, let's push Demko and complete the injury list. Great idea. Complete the injury list. Yo,
let's get to 10. Let's get to 10. Let's go.
Thatcher Demko got hurt after playing two straight starts on the road. Trevor, man, honestly, seriously speaking, I'd probably go to a trampoline park and test my luck.
Yeah, Kyle, you know what? You might be onto something, man. You actually might be onto something. I got no ad read here, so let's hit the break button for a few seconds, and okay. I see where you're going, man. Okay, I got you on the other side, buddy. All right, Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen, Locked On Canucks. And Kyle, I see what you're doing here, because actually I had a theory this morning, and I didn't want to get dark. You keep calling me the darkest guy on the program. I didn't want to go down this road, especially not on hump day. But I got thinking this morning, Pierre LeBrun had a column on The Athletic talking about kind of like NHL parity. And you're seeing teams like the Blackhawks and the Seattle Kraken are rebuilding teams like the Red Wings and Canadians, like these middling to bad teams having good starts, or teams that are, more forward looking than present looking, I should say. The only truly two bad teams this year have been the Calgary Flames and the San Jose Sharks. Everyone else at least has a fighting chance to be good, right? Welcome to Gary Bettman's NHL. Now, Kyle, if you play the wheels off of Demko and Demko gets hurt, maybe the Canucks can secretly have a tank job here. Is that what you're going for, man? You going for the tank job? Is that what you want?
Okay, well, first of all, this is why Thatcher Demko hates you, Trevor. You're dark. You're dark. Thatcher Demko's children hate Trevor Beggs, man. You're crazy. No, but I again, we're going crazy, and Andrew's gonna leave the show soon, because this is how bipolar it gets here on Locked On Canucks sometimes. Just throwing it out there. Again, we're being realistic. If we don't have Thatcher Demko this year, which we do, I know, can't really play this game too much, but if we don't have Thatcher Demko, the Canucks are maybe are 3-8, 4-8, maybe 4-11 or whatever, 4-7. Sorry, you know what I'm saying? That I don't think they have 5 wins. And we talked about this on the cruise over here. Yeah, I don't know. Just a lot of injuries. This is the injuries talking, okay? This is the injuries talking, and this is me not being able to take a hit of the Demko every night. So I don't know how we're going to win consistently over the next 30 days with all these injuries and not being able to play Demko, our $8.5 million goaltender, 75% of the time. I don't know what the team's record's going to be after 2 months, after 3 months. I'm confused. The direction, I don't know. And if the Canucks are out of it, Quinn Hughes is on the block. And I wonder if Thatcher Demko's on the block too.
Yeah, I don't think he is. You commit to him. I believe he has a no move clause that kicks in next season. So I see what you're saying, Kyle. Maybe there's a path now, but no, I really do think they believe in Thatcher Demko and they want Thatcher Demko in Vancouver. And Patrik Allvin, I think he was getting hard talking about him, man. But he talked about the Canucks having the best goaltending in the league, or what the best goaltending pipeline, the best duo in the league. He was saying some pretty big things about Canucks goaltending. And look, I think your argument really just stems from the fact that Demko's been great and his no move clause doesn't kick in. He officially does have a no move clause. It doesn't kick in until next season, right? So there's a path right now to trade Thatcher Demko, whereas Kevin Lankinen has the no move clause this year and next. But look, man, I unless this team is trying to tank, like they're not trading Thatcher Demko. Like he's been their MVP this season. Like,
oh no, I know. I'm just saying he has so much value, and you look at like you can't if this team's gonna reset the whole clock and actually start from the bottom. Another beautiful game from Macklin Celebrini. The Vancouver Canucks could have theoretically they were on their way to tanking maybe 3 years ago, but they wanted the Boudreaux bump. Since then it's been Bedard, it's been Celebrini, it's been Matthew Schaefer. I'm just saying if they're realistically gonna try to get to the bottom, like, can you do that with Demko? And if you're actually trying to like really reset the clock, can you just do that with one trade, a Quinn Hughes trade? Don't you need somebody else to trade? Nobody's taking Elias Pettersson at 11.6. Well, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, we're getting dark here. Comment. Matej Kittlemeyer is saying Shelovs is better than Kevin Lankinen. Hold your horses there, okay? I'm a big Shelovs guy. Humanitarian of the year, 2025. Do the math, do the research. He's that guy. That being said, Kevin Lankinen supposedly, alongside his wife, his girlfriend, I don't know the details. They just had a kid. They just had a baby. So should we be more patient with them? Because that's tough, man. The baby and focusing on your wife, her energy, focusing on her health, focusing on your baby's health, and the baby's crying. Like, I don't know. It's different, and you're a goaltender, and maybe he's a guy who likes to meditate. He's a guy who likes to read books. I guarantee he's not doing that right now because he's a good dad and he can't prioritize himself. He has to look after his family. Do the math. Maybe the rise of Kevin Lankinen is going to happen very, very soon, and we should forget about what's happened in the past year in October because again, he just had a kid and life's different.
Yeah, it makes me think of that quote that I think Dean Lombardi, the Kings, had years back, where he's like, single players are the guys you want on your team. They play better hockey, and what I got freshly single Archer Shelovs and Kevin Lankinen just had a baby. I mean, okay. That's the difference right there.
Okay, Trevor, you are something else. Trevor, if my girlfriend was listening to the show, she would be like, never hang out with Trevor again because he's subliminally trying to get you to break up with me. So you can be a better Canucks podcaster. So you could take the show to the top. So you could get paid. Trevor, man, the money's the root of all evil, man. You telling me to break up with my girlfriend so I can be a better man. You're crazy, dude. You're crazy.
Might be more productive, man. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Let's show the Cam Neely Former Canuck of the Week.
I don't want to say goodbye.
Kyle, you know it, man. Your girlfriend, she's your better half, man. You can't forget that. You can't forget that, and I haven't forgotten about any of the former Canucks that have left, man. I mean, the guy I want to shout out this week, I didn't mention him earlier on, but Dakota Joshua, baby. In case you're looking for a Joshua update, here it is. A bit of a slow start with the Maple Leafs. I believe it was just one assist in his first 7 games with the Buds, but he's scored 2 goals in his last 3 games, including the game-tying goal against the Buffalo Sabres earlier, or late last week, I should say. So he had goals in 2 straight games. 2 of his last 3 games, he scored game-tying goals, sent that game to overtime. The Leafs ended up winning that game. Dakota Joshua, 2 more goals than Evander Kane this season, and doing it at a fraction of the cost. So Dakota Joshua is the guy I'm showing out for finding his rhythm. And we'll have to go to Dakota Joshua. I do hope that guy finds success.
Yeah.
So
I hope Dakota Joshua,
Cam Neely Former Canuck of the Week.
Yeah, I hope Dakota Joshua gets it all. And I've seen some quotes from some interviews, and all this is not me paraphrasing, but I think reporters assuming / paraphrasing Allvin's thoughts about potentially extending Kiefer Sherwood. And there's been a lot of dialogue about how the Vancouver Canucks may want to be cautious because they don't want to overpay like they may have done with Dakota Joshua. You've heard that rhetoric, right? Dakota Joshua had one good year and they signed to a 4-year extension. What was it? 3.25 a year.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, again, everyone's paraphrasing here, but supposedly the Canucks are like, oh, we don't want to get it wrong again. And I'm like, yo, I hope the Canucks, that's not the logic in the Canucks brass, okay? We have to compare the Sherwood contract to the Dakota Joshua scenario, okay? Because it's yo, Dakota got testicular cancer in the offseason. That's why he slowed down. And now he got traded from Vancouver to Toronto when he didn't want to get traded. And that's like back-to-back summers where your life just changes. Look, some people deserve some grace. And I'm sure Dakota, when he finds momentum, he's going to start feeling it again. And don't forget, guys, don't forget, in long playoff runs, you need your depth guys to be good throughout. Don't get me wrong. You'd like them to be great throughout. But sometimes, like, guys like Dakota Joshua, the guys like Kiefer Sherwood, guys like Pio Suter, they're not going to be good for like a whole Stanley Cup run where they're your best player. You can't win like that. But they can be your best player every now and then. And Dakota Joshua, he won us one playoff game. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a big part. Like,
I'm still watching those highlights.
That guy's a damn good player when he's on. So again, I just hope Canucks people, media, the brass, the fans, I hope none of us are using that logic. Like, yo, be careful with what you do with Sherwood because look at what you did with Joshua and he didn't live up to it. It's like, what? Shut up. Sometimes you get wrapped up in all the losing and like, don't get me wrong, you're allowed to be dark and whatever, be an asshole, but just try not to be so dumb because like that does not make any sense. Dakota Joshua, it was impossible to get what we were going to get from him last year based on the things that he went through. And then when he came back, he walked into a completely different team that was dysfunctional. It's just like, yeah. Anyways, go Dakota Joshua, go.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And just one last word here on Joshua and team toughness. It's funny. People kind of saying the Canucks are too soft, the Canucks are too small. Kyle, looking at the hit leaders this season, I mean, Kiefer Sherwood is second in the NHL. He's actually trailing Yakov Trenin. So watching the hit battle when the Canucks play the Wild on Saturday. But in the top 15, you have Sherwood second in hits, Zadorov third in hits. You have Dakota Joshua 14th in hits and Vasily Podkolzin 15th in hits. So three guys in the top 15 in hits are former Canucks. Zadorov, who we let walk, and Joshua and Podkolzin, who we traded away for 4th round picks. And there we go. Now we have Evander Kane, man. Unbelievable. Locked on Canucks. Kyle Bowman's leaving. I'm getting out of here. One love to you and you for tuning in. Again, we'll maybe be more positive tomorrow. We're just gonna keep it real, man. I might be getting punched out by Evander Kane in the locker room, man. Who knows? But hey, if you like what we're doing, support the show, share it with a friend on the podcast side. You can follow us, leave a 5-star review. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy was Kyle Bowen. One love to all of you listening to Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.